Hello everybody, it's The Last Raider. We are back with another video. And today we are coming into what I hope will be the conclusion to the whole Marvel Red Skull Jordan B Peterson thing. And that is, Jordan B Peterson is probably handling the situation the best way that he can. And probably the most perfected way. And that is, he is just making fun of them at this point. And if you know anything about SJWs, they hate being made fun of. It embarrasses them. And the thing about comedy will make intelligent people think. It will also embarrass and belittle people who don't. And the thing about SJWs is they don't think. There's a reason why they're called NPCs. Because they just get a script upgrade and then they all parrot the same bullshit on a daily basis. All the nonsense that you will hear online, there's one or two people that are getting the upgrade and then the rest of them get the update afterward. And they all speak the same thing. They like a bunch of parrots going off. They all parrot the same nonsense. Jordan B. Peterson, however, is handling the situation quite well. Okay, you're going to put my words in the mouth of the Red Skull and you got this entire audience. Well, I'm going to make fun of you in front of this entire audience. I'm just going to make you look stupid. There was a guy I remember working for. He's a very old man, and he actually went toe-to-toe with the IRS one time. He did the same thing. He actually got something done when he finally got comedic with them. He went up to the IRS. They come in. They took everything. They garnished his wages. They drained his bank account. They took his house. They took his car. He had nothing when they were done with him. So he takes off to Jefferson City to the IRS's office, sits on the outside of it, and just sits out there. He goes inside for a little bit. They'll close. He go back out. Does this for about 3 or 4 days. And while he's doing this, someone finally asked him, he was telling us this, he said, they finally asked me, they said, where are you here? He said, the IRS has taken everything from me. They took my home, they took my vehicle, they've taken all the money I've saved up, and they've taken my ability to make a living and to have purpose. He said, so I'm just going to sit here and starve until I die. He said, I don't have any money for food. I don't have any money to go back home. I don't even have a home to go to. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to starve. And that is kind of a joke. They took everything from him. There was actually a point where while he was there, the IRS comes outside and they're like, oh, but he told us this. He said they came out and he was talking, the head of the IRS was sitting there telling the news crews. He said, oh, we really wish that Mr. Mcgraw would just go home. You know, we wish he would go home and go back to his family and not stay here and starve like this. It's not healthy for him. And he said, I saw my moment. He said, in a moment of assholery, I stepped up from behind him with what strength I had left, grabbed him by the shoulder and said, I can't go home because you took my home. And he said all the reporters just kind of nervously laughed at it. It wasn't long that U.S. senators found out what was going on, said this is going to make us look bad. And the IRS gave him everything back and didn't mess with him ever again. You have to be willing to push the comedy. But he said one thing. He said, he always told us. He said, one, you have to be willing to die for what you believe in. If you're right, you have to be willing to die for it. He said the second thing is you have to be able to use the absurdity of things. He said absurdity makes people think, and that's what this does. Going in here, putting Jordan Peterson's quotes over the Red Skull's picture shows absurdity. Because here's a character who is an actual Nazi within the comic books. And he's not talking about Nazi things. We're taking all of Jordan B. Peterson's quotes and putting to the Red Skull, who is not a Nazi, Jordan B. Peterson, who is not a Nazi, who doesn't talk about Nazi things, who actually talks about the sin of being a racist. And now they're putting his words onto the Red Skull, trying to make him out to be a Nazi, and it's backfiring beautifully. Because by doing this, you make these people look stupid. It's embarrassing to an SJW. Because ordinary people are going to look at this and go, You're saying Jordan Peterson's like the Red Skull? Red Skull is a Nazi. Like, all he's telling you to do is clean your room. That's it. You know, I'd like my son to clean his room. I'd like my daughter to clean her room. Actually, right now, my kid's room is a complete mess. I wish she'd get in there and clean it. But I mean, you take a normie going in there, that's what they're going to say. You know, I would like it if my kid would get up off his ass and just clean his damn room. That would be nice. Why is that cleaning your damn room is that being a Nazi? What, am I supposed to do it all the time? And people think. This type of humor forces the average person to think. And that's the thing that SJWs fear the most, because they use emotion all the time, never logic. They use emotion. They go in, they get people emotional, and they make them make a decision. It's a technique used by used car salesmen, which should tell you just how wrong that is. Okay? And when the used car salesman says, you better get on this now, I've got 4 other people watching it, they're playing on your fear to force you to make a snap decision about something. And I always respond to used car salesmen when they go, I got 4 or 5 people looking at this. I said, well, sounds like you got somebody who wants to buy it. I'll go look for something else. You'd be amazed at how fast the price starts dropping at that point. If you're not willing to walk away from the table, you're not in control at that point. Okay? And this is what, and like I said, SJWs use that type of fear. They'll use sadness, anger. They'll use any emotion they can get their hands on to make you make a decision. It's just like with gun control. Okay? Gun control really gets pushed after a mass shooting, because they're like, oh, don't you feel bad about these kids? Doesn't it hurt your soul if these kids died? Now pass our gun control, or you're a bigot, or you don't care about these kids really. The thing is, they want you to pass gun control on AR-15s, which make up, even with all rifles combined, make up almost about just barely 1% of the gun deaths in this country, which most of them are held by handguns, which, by the way, they also say that the emotional argument also is, well, we license cars. Why don't we have the balls to license guns? Well, you look at cars being licensed, they cause way more deaths than the guns. Logic dictates that the licensing doesn't really make much of a difference. The reason why people are afraid of guns is because they're not used to them. And this is how these emotional arguments go. The left does the same thing. They call you a Nazi to get you in an emotional state and make a snap decision, and usually that snap decision is the wrong one. Educated decisions are far better than snap decisions based on emotion. And this right here, going after SJWs with humor, taking Jordan Peterson's words and putting them to the Red Skull in a bunch of memes, is the best way to fight this, because it shows how stupid these people are. And when you know the person that's trying to lead you is stupid, people stop following them. People stop listening to them. And this is what must be done. Humor exposes the leftists for the stupid person that they are. Anyway, folks, I am The Last Raider. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, be sure to share this video if you think you know someone who would get a kick out of it. And as always, stay safe, stay frosty. See you guys in the next video. Bye-bye now.